What is up, guys? In today's video, we are going to be spectating random players in Fortnite Zero build, going over what I think they do well, what they could do differently, and just the state of the game right now. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more. And in this match, I brought in the Galaxy 0-point sprite. There was a few players pickaxing me in the lobby, so hopefully they land on me. And I think I'm going to be going Frosted Flats. It's near the center of the map. It's a blue POI. I think I might have landed here for the last one. I'm honestly not too sure where I landed for the last one of these videos I made, but this will probably be a place I go to somewhat consistently for these videos because the small-ish POI in the center of the map that typically has a good amount of people going to, and that's kind of what I want in these videos. Like, I don't want to spectate looting, someone looting like a really large POI, you know, and then obviously want to have some off spawn action. Multiple people here. I'm just gonna hide for a second so they can fight it out. I think they're AI. I gotta go to the other side of the POI. Thank you. Ben's got the gray Maven. He's immediately portable extracting that Galaxy sprite. Thank you. I'm always worried that I'm gonna give them that sprite and then they're just gonna have to go manually extract it, and then it's gonna kind of ruin the flow of the video as well. But it worked out. There was AI over here. I knew it was AI because of the way they're just full fighting with the starting pistol. So this should be a free elimination for him, and then he'll be able to quickly make his way out of here. One would think. A boss just spawned nearby. I heard it spawn. We don't see it on the map. It's probably this one here, or maybe over here. I don't know. Oh my god, this game annoys me so much with that. The button to zoom in the map is the same as swap players, and sometimes it swaps and sometimes it doesn't. Imagine if you were zooming in on the map and then it made you shoot. That just wouldn't happen, but it does while spectating. But either way, okay, yeah, we see the boss now. I would want to go try to fight that boss if I was this player, because you potentially get Skeletor's shotgun, which I would really like to have. Some people like the Mythic Maven. Mythic Burst is probably the least sought after, especially with how good the pistols are. But you also get a boss sprite, which is the best sprite in the game, I think, and he doesn't have a sprite at all. So him getting that boss sprite from the boss, in addition to potentially a useful mythic weapon, could really help him. He also has a good amount of shock rocks going already, which is really nice because that means he'll be in less of a rush to get to the center of the map. Pretty much regardless of where I land, after I'm done looting my POI and I have decent items to play the game with, I want to try to get towards the center of the map as fast as I can to get shock rocks. Because there's some all around the 0 point, but they're limited. They don't respawn or anything like that. So other people taking them means you're probably not going to get them if they all get scooped up from that area. And in some matches they do get all scooped up like that. And so him having some means he's not in as much of a rush to get over there, which is really good. And then he also ate one, which is nice as well. That's also something I was going to say. You want to have these rocks on your character at all times. Decides to not go for the boss, but that's fine. He knew this person was over here somehow. Maybe he heard the shots. They're in the bush. This is a weird fight. Oh no, they're not in the bush. They just full left. Okay. But yeah, that person had just finished fighting over there. Somebody over there. That is a drone, I'm pretty sure. And so you want to fight this drone kind of, but be more worried about the other person that was over here. You can kind of bait them into maybe trying to third party you. You want to shoot those shots and then immediately just check your surroundings and see if that person is going to try to come back. But maybe they just full left. Here they are. And that is GG's. Shock rocks in a nutshell. That's why they're so important. The guy did come back. He just came back a little bit slower than what we thought. And then he gets hopped on and immediately eliminated. Guys, 1 overdrive, 3 rocks. I was about to say with the person that we were spectating, I would probably want to make my way to the center of the map and try to get some rocks. And this guy got body sniped. No ice cream in the game means he actually needs to get alone time to be able to heal. And he's probably going to be able to do that pretty easily with these rocks. And nope, never mind. This person had rocks as well. And another example of why they're so important. If he didn't have any on his character right there, and then that guy jumps on him and surprises him, the game is over for him. He's already weak. It still may be over for him if this enemy pursues well. But with how fast the time to kill is this season, and like some things like the hunting rifle as well, like rocks are a lot of times the only things that can save you. Unfortunate or weird timing is going to happen if you're active at all throughout the course of the game. And so that is why I want to have those jumps on my character as often as possible. But we've already seen it happen a few times where this character lived. Like, even when the first player we were spectating pulled up on him, if they didn't have rocks active to get away, that might have been, you know, a fight that gets won by the person we were spectating. They get away, re-engage with the rocks, and then avoid, you know, a terrible timing situation again. Now they want to go around here and pick them up. I like having both the rocks and the overdrives. This person seems to like the hunting rifle, and I think they've hit it a few shots, so it's fine. But, okay, he drops the hunting. What I was going to say is I like having both forms of mobility because the rocks are so valuable to me and so important that I want to have them on my character at all times to, like, you know, potentially avoid that bad timing, but also still have the overdrives for more, like, less important forms of movement. Like, if I want to push somebody, I can overdrive onto them and then not use, like, a rocket jump instead because I want to have 3 active at all times. Probably going to overdrive here and then triple jump up to try to fight this person, but unfortunately they are so high up that doesn't really work out, but I saw the vision there. And it works the second time. This guy's a little bit lower. Whenever people rift, you could chase them. If you get a decent engage on somebody and they use the jumps, you could do the same thing. You could just jump after them and chase them and get damage. Bad timing. Probably going to be able to get away with rocks. I was trying to say this earlier, but the removal of the ice cream means you actually need to get time to heal now. If ice cream was in the game, he just eats an ice cream cone and then he's ready to fight again. That one engage cost him, though. A lot of people would look at this and think, like, it's like the rocks are pretty overpowered and annoying, how much they influence the game. But a lot of people would look at this and say that, like, you could just get away for free all the time and not have to deal with the consequences of a bad fight or bad timing. And that is true. But look at how many rocks he had to waste there. That one engage the person got on him made him waste his chug jug. And I think 2 or 3 rocks. Like the consuming of the rock itself. And so that is a fight that actually maybe comes back to haunt this player. Like, he didn't immediately die there, but it maybe sets the stage for that other person to be able to capitalize on the timing again. I would want to go buy a chug jug. Like, there's vending machine there that he could buy it from. He's gonna go to this friendship bubble. I'm not really sure why. You can shockwave people out of it. Maybe he's just looking for like a somewhat isolated kill rather than being in the middle of the map area there that's like really congested. We've already seen them get third-partied once. This is kind of like the petty movement of rocks that I was talking about. Like, I don't want to use that one jump there just to fight this guy. I would rather use an overdrive. That way I have like the 3 jumps ready to go. And then I maybe conserve a shock rock. This person's going to rift away. And he probably gets away. He could do the rock jump to chase him, but I don't think it's the best idea. Like, they landed close. But I was going to say, I don't think it's the best idea because this person doesn't seem to be the greatest. They're using the shield, which can be pretty annoying to deal with. But they just had to use 6 jumps essentially to get that kill. Like, they used them at first in the fight because their overdrives were gone and then their shockwaves on cooldown, and then they used a few to chase, and then now he doesn't have any jumps. And so if he gets bad timing, he only has 1 jump. Oh, there's some there. That's huge. But I was gonna say, if he gets bad timing now, then that's probably the end of the game. He doesn't have the like rocks as like somewhat of an insurance policy, but he ends up finding that one there, which is absolutely huge for him. The 0 point is still on the map. I would want to be trying to make my way there. We've seen in this match, there's been a few people that have just very good aim and almost like absolutely delete. So I would want to have those as some sort of a failsafe. Without them, I think this player, another player, somebody spectated, would have died earlier than they did. That's nice. Again, have the overdrives for more, less important movement. Like, anytime the overdrive can get the job done, I want to use that. Or anytime the shockwave can get the job done, I want to use that. There's more expendable to me than the shock rocks. I don't know if he heard something or what. Okay. I was going to say, he seems like sus of this area. Chest there, that's nice. Unfortunate. No mobility out of it. More overdrives on the ground to his right. That's also very helpful. The fishy sprite he's using seems useless. I talked about this in a video I made recently about underrated sprites. So the first effect of this is better movement speed in the water, which is kind of whatever. But where this really shines is you get boosted movement speed after taking damage. And so in pretty much any fight versus somebody that's decent, this player is going to be moving faster and have a movement advantage. And that could be helpful if you're trying to use your movement in the fight to like break an enemy's camera or throw the shots off. It could be helpful if you're trying to chase somebody who previously damaged you. And it can also be helpful for trying to like get away. Like it's helpful in so many ways. Weird-ish timing. Doesn't get very much damage back on this player, but he didn't take much damage either. He did use a jump though. And so if bad timing happens, he's not going to have all three ready to go. And to get like the absolute super jump to really get away from a situation, you need to have all three. And that's why I was saying I don't want to use just one in a fight. This is like a very bad fight for both parties, I think. I think it's worse for the person up there, though. You would think the guy on high ground has an advantage, and they do to an extent, but that person is more likely to get third party than the guy that we're spectating in the bush right here. But yeah, so like these long, drawn-out, stagnant fights that aren't going anywhere are bad because you potentially get third partied. And that person, I don't know if he was trying to bait him into thinking he got third partied, but someone definitely just pulled up there. And that's what I was trying to say. Like that guy's in a better spot, so it's more likely enemies are going to come to him than this person here. And they are shooting with suppressed ranger pistols and all that, but still, like, people in the area are going to be aware a fight is happening. And so if you are in kind of like a stagnant fight that's not going anywhere, like share pressure the person you're trying to fight, but always keep in the back of your head that like this is probably going nowhere and I need to be more worried about third parties. Especially with the hunting rifle in the game as well. Those mid-range fights, like, it's very stagnant. I don't carry the hunting often, so like for me, it's rough to play into the hunting. And the person up top there didn't know for sure this guy didn't have a hunting, you know? And so he could have just eventually hit a snipe and then shock rocked on them and then killed. 0 Point is still in the middle of the map. Like, it's still in zone, but it would be hard for him to get rocks at this point, and they've, you know, potentially all been taken already anyways. Right now, he's just chilling here. Like, I think it makes sense to do this. Once the game gets to a certain point where there's an okay amount of people left alive here. There's 6 opponents. But once the zone gets to a certain point where you have like a few people in a very large zone, just running around to look for people, I feel like doesn't even necessarily increase your chances of finding anybody. Because there's so much area compared to the amount of people left alive. And then with how timing based this season is, like just running around aimlessly, you maybe get engaged on and then just deleted because the ranger pistol exists or the hunting rifle exists. And so once you get to these later stages in the game, just putting yourself somewhere where you can see a lot of area, I feel like helps you find those people. And then also you're kind of hanging out and ready to, you know, third party. This is very unfortunate. So a fight is happening on like his far left or whatever, like kind of towards Sinister. And he's killing an AI. I would have liked to have third partied that fight. It was like over here somewhere. And then he also used jumps to fight an AI, which is just not ideal. Someone jumped on him now. And this maybe would have been the fight that he could have third partied. Gets very good damage, but uses his last shock rock. And had he not used them to fight the AI, you know, maybe he has one right now. He wouldn't have been able to do the super jump anyway, so I think he only had 2 jumps at that point. But that's what I was trying to say. Just hang out in an area like that, you can see a lot of the area around you, and I feel like that, you know, helps you find the final players anyways, more so than just running around would. You don't get screwed by that bad timing. And then also you can just kind of hang out and be ready to third party. And I think if he prioritized the third party instead of fighting that AI, maybe things are better for him at this point. Like he might have gotten, you know, mobility and stuff off that kill. Luckily he has 5 overdrives. So that's very nice. That's a lot better than having nothing. But we've seen time and time again this match that like people are either engaging with the shock rocks or getting away from engages with the shock rocks. And pretty much the only counter to the shock rock engage is shock rocking away. And The only counter to someone running away with it is probably just chasing them yourselves, especially if they get the super jump off. And they're not like super one-shottable, you know? But same thing I talked about before. He's just got up here. He can see so much of the map. He can't really dictate the pace of the game too well without shock rock, so he needs to just kind of hang out and wait for zone. I think makes sense. He's a decent spot. He's probably not going to be able to hold people really, but like that's okay. Like these other people are going to get in zone. We just saw somebody in front of him over there, and then somebody shock rocking near him, or overdriving. Sorry, walk waving something. The glider redeployed as well. They might be trying to walk up. I kind of don't like this. They have a guardian shield. I just heard them use it. I would want to just leave, to be honest. Like if they walk up the stairs, I feel like you're just having a really random fight, and then maybe you win it, but you're left weak and zone's on you and you have to leave, and then everybody on the map just saw you fighting at that lighthouse and they're going to be looking that direction anyways. And so I think not having that fight is probably ideal. There's a person right above him. I think they were just walking around the corner of that shed. He's trying to get ahead into the new area just to be alone. And that makes a lot of sense. When you have these moving zones, everybody needs to come in kind of on this side here. And so if you're hanging out in this area, you have the chance of just like getting jumped on by one person and then like repetitively third partied, or having people already hiding in this area. So if you get like deep into the new safe area when you have these moving zones, typically you're going to have some sort of alone time and put yourself in like the safest spot. Good damage there, I think. Damage numbers don't show on my spectator for some reason. Not really able to do anything with it. He could have maybe hopped on that, but like very exposed to the other people. This zone is kind of gross. The fishy spray will maybe help him here because it's a very water zone. Gets damage there, but you maybe hop on that, you maybe don't. It could go either way. If I had shock rocks, I would probably be inclined to hop on that because you could do the triple jump and then shoot on them while you're on your way there, and they maybe don't even hear you pushing them. Whereas with overdrives here, they're going to know he's pushing, and the other people in the lobby are going to know he's pushing, so they have more time to set up in third party. But that person's going to be a problem. So they're getting the zone first, and so they could potentially hold the person we're spectating. Oh, that's the hunting rifle. And that's why the boss sprite is so good. If he had a max level boss right there, he doesn't get one hit. This person had 1 HP. That's... And I don't think he hit them after that initial engage, right? That's actually so unfortunate. If he just chased and like pushed that kill, he probably kills them and then maybe gets third partied anyways. But that is one of the most unfortunate things I've ever seen. He made this guy 1 health and then got headshot sniped. And then this area got collapsed on. What I was trying to say was that guy getting ahead of zone can maybe hold the rest of the lobby. If everybody kind of waits to rotate to like the last moment, then you have a situation where they kind of just all hop on each other and then things go bad. And without shock rocks, you're not really going to be able to do anything. But it's also can be hard to hold the lobby with shock rocks. It's just like very... I wouldn't say random is the right word, but it's just like you never know what's actually going to happen until it happens. If everybody's going to wait, then late rotating kind of sucks. If everybody's going to go early, then like late rotating kind of helps. But in a zone like that, I feel like most people are probably going to late rotate. And so pushing that person that he had really weak and getting the best positioning, that might be the best opportunity he has to actually get there. And he has to go there anyways, you know? It just sucks that he made that guy 1 health and then got a headshot sniped. But that is going to be it for this video. I think you kind of saw how the wasting and not replenishing of shock rocks came back to cost that player. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.